And welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, and today I have the very delightful surprise that we are going to be covering all of the Tour of Slovenia, the highlights. And last year, of course, we had Tadej Pogačar win this race. He did it the year before as well in quite a incredible fashion, but here we are, 2023, and I mean, there's no Tadej Pogačar for this race, but it still is an exciting race to say the least. And nevertheless, Stage 1 was from Celje to Rogaška Slatina, 189.5 kilometers, and there was three bonus sprints along the way with one categorized climb on the profile. So it looked like it was very much going to be one for the sprinters. There were plenty. Dylan Groenewegen, of course, taking a victory last year. Throughout the day, mostly Jaco Ayula and Iolo Kometa were taking charge of the breakaway hunting, and at the front we had a leader group of 4 riders, which included Thomas Calorois from the RRK group here, Baguette Benzonol Continental team, Bastian Murn from Adria Mobile, the Continental team from Slovenia, and also the former team of Primož Roglic himself, and number 54 for Iolo Kometa, which was Andrea Garosio. And another Slovenian Continental team, the cycling team Krank, had Tio Penik up here, the 21-year-old in the breakaway. They had over 2 minutes of a lead with about 80 kilometers to go. However, with about 50 kilometers to go, this gap was very narrow and the peloton could see them in the distance. And on this categorized climb, it looked like the day was going to almost be over, and it was the Adria Mobile rider who managed to get up the road and drop the rest of his breakaway companions. Iolo Kometa unfortunately suffered a crash as well, and this involved Alex Martin and Alessandro De Marchi, who of course was at the Giro d'Italia. Many of these riders coming from the Giro d'Italia. A bit unfortunate for the youngster from Spain to be involved in that crash. Meanwhile, out in front, Bastian Murn was still really putting some time into the peloton, making sure that he had a healthy gap between himself and the chasing bunch. Kern Farmer, who were very present at last year's edition, tried to make a splash in this stage as well, and it was Raul Garcia who was trying to chase down this gap between himself and the Slovenian rider. Unfortunately for Raul Garcia, he crashed coming around a corner, and that meant that his chase of only 8 seconds up to the leader looked like it was for nothing at this point. Unfortunately, he got his chain back. It looked like his chain was dropped, and he was communicating with his team, but it didn't look like it was going to be his day today, unfortunately. The sole rider out in front, he managed to pick up the sprint points in the intermediate sprints, as he was brought back by Jaco Ayula and Tudor Pro Cycling. With about 18 kilometers to go, we had another crash involving a Bardiani rider and a Q36.5 rider. It was Helu Abrehan who was the unfortunate rider for Q36.5, and it was also Alessandro Santaro Mita for Green Project. However, not long after, unfortunately for the Austrian rider, passed by Jakob Eriksson of Sweden and Tudor Pro Cycling, and he was quickly joined by a Q36.5 rider in the form of Alessandro Fedeli, and they emerged out of the woods together, the Italian and the Swede, to form an alliance. Sana, the loyal teammate, was doing a solid job at the front for Dylan Groenewegen here to try and close down this dangerous move. 15 seconds with 16.6 kilometers to go. However, the two in front looked very motivated to try and get away here. However, the two were quickly joined by Alessandro Tonelli, and with 12 seconds to go, 11.5 kilometers, it looked like this move had a bit more of a chance. Bahrain Victorious as well had sprinting opportunities available to them, so they started to put in a lot of the effort as well, and Bahrain Victorious, who were lurking, closed this gap. With 2.6 kilometers, UAE members emerged from the back seat and really took charge of the peloton, and this looked like it was going to potentially be Hodge that they were working for, or was it Milano, the two Colombians so deadly in a sprint, but they certainly started to drive down the gap between themselves and this breakaway. Everyone at their limit, they could just about see the peloton behind them if they looked behind. None of the breakaway riders giving up here at the front. They were really determined to try and keep out for as long as possible. Inside the last kilometer, the breakaway still had an advantage here, and it looked like that the sprint teams would have to do something quickly if they were going to reel these riders in to make sure that they wouldn't get an upset here for the breakaway. And it fell on the shoulders of Bahrain Victorious and Tudor Pro Cycling, but Then we saw Jaco Ayula, the favourites, with Dylan Groenewegen coming to the forefront, and this really took a lot of the deficit out of the breakaway, and they overtook them with about 300 meters to go. And here they really opened up with Lucas Meskec putting Dylan Groenewegen in an absolutely incredible position here, and Groenewegen just about finishing off the job in front of Phil Bauhaus. So incredible ride that from Jaco Ayula. Weren't there for the most part at the front, and then just appeared in the crucial stages. And yeah, thumbs up everywhere. But Dylan Groenewegen takes it there. Incredible win for the Dutchman, and really just continuing that good momentum he's had in 2023. In terms of the top 10, Groenewegen takes the victory ahead of Bauhaus, and then Matteo Moschetti in third place, the rider for Q36.5 pro cycling team. And then we had Slava Ayolonsky from Human Power Healthcare, David Gonzalez from Carual, Ida Schelling up here for Bora Hansgrohe, and Robin Freudvoy from Tudor Pro Cycling, and John Baranetsax from Carual, and Fernando Bracello from Carual as well as Carlos Canela. So Spanish riders really dominating the top 10, but ultimately it is Dylan Groenewegen and Jaco Ayula who add another stage to the incredible Tour of Slovenia Palmares as of yet. And of course they have got the Italian champion Filippo Zana in here, so potentially he could be fighting for the honours of the GC later on. Of course I am going to be covering all the stages as well with you, and in terms of stage 2 coming up tomorrow, it is a fairly flat profile. We've got 2 categorized climbs, one coming with about 15 kilometers from the finish, but the last 700 meters is 6.9%, so potentially we can see some of the big sprinters getting dropped on that final climb. But who knows how they're going to play it here. It could be anything at the Tour of Slovenia. But anyways, that's basically been it for this first stage of the Tour of Slovenia. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and of course, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.